Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Truth Talk for another episode of a conversation that we're going to have today. Today, we're going to talk about how to stay grounded in the atmosphere of chaos. It seems that with all the changes that we have in society, all of the, chaos from all the social unrest, all the restrictions we have with COVID, we can talk about the problems for like ever. Right? Like we can literally talk every day and go on until as much as we can imagine about these issues and these problems. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want to talk about solutions. I want to talk about the positive ways that we can get back to a normalcy. I'm in the mindset that there's laws being made, there are social structures that are changing that seem more permanent than temporary. And we might want to close our eyes to that and just, wait, hold our breath a little bit. But I think that if we do, we're wasting precious time. So joining me today is Markus Floyd, Bill Coffman, Jacqueline Keenan, and Brandy Hunt. They are our trusted panelists that you get to see every week. So let me ask them, just right off the bat, is there more fear and worry that is kind of paralyzing people into a holding pattern that's going on around you or even maybe with you than there is productivity? See, let me give you examples. Are people waiting? Say they got laid off. There's some people that I know that have taken that opportunity to go out and get another job or go get an education online. But I think there's more people that's just satisfied waiting for their job to open back up. But the longer their establishment is closed, the more risk of it closing permanently. And then what do you do? And what about family and friends? Do you just wait? One day we'll get to come together again. One day we'll have a birthday party again. And you refuse technology. I'm not going to do Zoom. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to talk to my family through a computer. I'm not going to just phone call you or text you because I don't do that. I am a in-person, hands-on, hug you, hug me kind of person. So I'm just going to wait. But we know that not everyone's going to be around by time that happens. So we're losing precious time with family, with friends, by not adapting to the technology advantages that we can be utilizing, right? And education. You have seniors who just graduated, choosing to take a sabbatical. What do you call that? When they don't go to school, they take a year off, a gap year, to see what's going to happen. Some are saying, you know what? It's available online, but I want it the old-fashioned way. I want to go to the college. I want to experience the dorm. I want to experiencing everything college has. So I'm going to wait until it opens up. Now, I want to ask you guys this. What do you think about all of those scenarios or any of them?
I'll go. I got something. So, literally, this is my life right now. I turn 40 next month. My biggest birthday, 40, is going to be next month. And I think I might have to have a drive-by parade or something because, like you said, either you're going to have the party and you're going to possibly infect, you don't know. So, and I'm that person. I don't want to infect anybody at my birthday party, So this is what God showed me was shift. That is the word for the season. We used to talk about this kingdom shift that was coming. The kingdom shift is coming. The shift came differently than we expected it to come, but we have to take the shift. Shift stands for see how it fits today.
Repeat that, Brandy. Just repeat that again.
See how it fits here. See how it fits today. Shift. Don't worry about what happened yesterday or even tomorrow. Just see how what's going on can help you today. Because if I worry about yesterday, I'm going to be scared. If I worry about tomorrow, I'm going to be scared. But if I can just focus on today, right now, what I can do right now, and then I'll get to tomorrow.
That's beautiful. I love that. Can we all adapt that? We're going to steal that from you, Brandy. We're all going to be talking about shift. Shift,
Right.
shift.
I never heard that before. I like it a lot. I never heard that. I'm going to try and remember that. And it's kind of goes with what Jesus said too, when he said, don't worry too much about tomorrow. It's got enough troubles of its own.
Right.
He didn't say, don't worry about tomorrow. Everything's going to be fine. He didn't say that. He said, do not worry too much about tomorrow. It's got enough troubles of its own. Plenty of the troubles you got today. Let's work on these things. And that's really what that is. I'm a pretty positive guy. I don't really think too many negative thoughts, but I do know that tomorrow may actually not be a beautiful time for me in my own personal life. It may be, may not be. But if I worry about today, it certainly can be today.
Jacqueline or Markus, you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't. I actually love, what Brandy said, kind of make my mind shift, so to say. So, I like that. I like that.
Thank you. Jacqueline, what about you?
When it comes to just adapting in life, are you gonna wait for everything to come down, or are you just gonna go about your day and go about how you're going to be financially stable and how you're going to live your life? Personally, I think that we've been through this long enough to understand how to safely continue our lives with our friends, family, the way that we work. We know now the parameters that we need to keep and the cautions that we need to have. And we should be able to adjust our life enough so that we can still be happy and feel fulfilled while we wait possibly for it to be over. Because, everybody doesn't really know how long this is going to last.
Yeah, I love the key words that you guys said: adjust, shift, and I love the fact that tomorrow has enough trouble on its own. We don't have to look at tomorrow and say, what are we going to do tomorrow? We have today, we have the rest of this day, just tonight, that we need to go through. And, the one thing I love is Jeremiah 29:11 from the Bible. And it says, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. See, that's not an if. That's a definite statement from the Lord that he has plans for you, for I, and everyone listening. And those plans are going to prosper you. That means they're going to increase you. They're going to be successful for you. They're going to do good for you. They're going to prosper you. They're not going to harm you. So it might be a shift. It might be an adjustment. It might be different and uncomfortable. But if we are trusting God, if we are seeking him first, which is what Bill was saying, seek God about today. Hear the Holy Spirit today. And if some of these things we say during the show don't make sense, please comment, ask us about it. Contact us so we can kind of tell you what we're talking about, so we can explain the verbiage. But we have to trust that God's not going to set something up to harm us. Not even COVID. Like this, yes, this is devastating. I agree with that. But it's not here to harm us. It's not. If we are taking precautions, like Jacqueline said, we are doing what the law says that we need to do to keep safe, to be obedient to the law, but also knowing that God is not surprised by this. Is he? No. He knew COVID-19 was coming. He knew all of this racial unrest and uproar was coming, and he knew they would collide at the same time, and he knew where each of us would be in our life, in our story, in our journey.
I'm not certain, Melanie, I don't know that this is any specific time that Jesus was talking about in the future, but it at least is a foreshadowing of something he spoke about. And it talks about at a time when people's fear will grip them, the people, and that there will be lawlessness, and they're going to lose their love for one another. And I don't think we've done that completely, but I know we've seen a shadowing of it that old people don't remember. I'm an old people. Brandy, you're turning 40. That was 18 years ago for me, and and that's fine because it just moves on, man. I was Jacqueline's age like 3 weeks ago, in my mind. But these things happen, and they do. But when we've had a lot of security over the history of your life, if you're around my age, because we didn't go through the Depression, people my age, we didn't go through World War II. I was born during the Vietnam War era. It was the beginning of it, but that's when I was born, so I don't even really remember it. Okay, I served my military at different times of war, the Gulf type stuff and that thing, so different time. And all this stuff that I've had has been pretty stable. This is the first time where people my age are for the first time experiencing what a lot of people in history have experienced, which is totally like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And this is going to hurt me. That's been pretty common for humans, not really for my generation. So all I'm saying is it's not uncommon for humans to have to call out to God for help, where maybe in my generation we haven't had to call out to God for help because we've been pretty safe on our own.
Yes.
That's all I'm kind of trying to say. I hope that made sense.
It does. It does make sense. And, taking away the fear aspect, the last part of Jeremiah 29:11 is that he has plans to give us hope in the future. Listen, we don't need hope in good times. You don't need hope when everything is going great. Hope is for the hard times. And so if he has to give us plans for hope for the future, he's letting us know, hey, when things get uncertain and you don't know what the future looks like, I got your hope. I got your plans. And that's where we need to rest. So when we come back from break, we're going to talk about what does that hope for our future look like in certain areas of our society, our daily lives. How can we give that to everyone listening? And if you're listening, when we come back from this short commercial break, please message us. Comment, that's the word, comment, so we can include you in our conversation.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
We are now reaching our second year anniversary on our inspirational, educational, and entertainment programmings. As part of our journey, we are so grateful to announce that our programs are now available to watch live in real time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. A big appreciation to all our followers, viewers, supporters, and to those who are cheering for our success. Thank you very much for your patronage. For 2 years we have produced over 25 shows. And joined by passionate collaborators, individuals, and organizations. Social Media Shows Network's 2-year anniversary, and 100 episodes celebration, and $100 giveaway. No purchase necessary. Go to socialmediashows.com for more details.
Are you ready to hear about the most amazing competition coming your way? It's the Gifts of Talent virtual competition where you can dance, sing, act, do comedy, all in the comfort of your own home.
Welcome back to Truth Talk. Hope you enjoyed that commercial break, got something to drink, and ready to sit down and have another conversation. Before the break, Bill was talking about how the Bible talks about that fear will grip people, that lawlessness will be rampant all over, and that people will lose their love for one another. How do we know that that's where a majority of the people in society are right now? I see that every day here in LA. Every time I walk out the door, that is the theme. It's very rare, and it surprises me when someone does anything kind or looks kind at you. I go for a walk in the morning, and I mean, 3 blocks down, if someone sees that you're on the same side of the street, you can see them in their body language getting upset that you're walking on their side of the sidewalk. And they will get 1 block away from you and then huff and puff and cross the street like you did something wrong for being outside. Those times when you just greeted each other and walked past and said, hey, good walk, good morning, it's over. At least here in our neighborhood, it is. It's completely over. How can we encourage in these areas to go back to compassion, to go back to realizing we're not the enemy. Each other is not the enemy. You know, we are still the body of Christ, and those who don't know Christ, well, they're still the ones that we're supposed to reach out to and love. And inside the body of Christ, we're supposed to encourage to overcome this. Either way, fear and looking at each other as though we're the plague, literally. And I know it's a bad choice of word, but jobs, financial. How can people feel safe going to work? Because some people are not taking. Listen, my daughter-in-law, her job closed down, and she got another job somewhere else because she's a hardworking person. She's self-sufficient, her and my son, and they didn't want to just stay on unemployment. They wanted to go out if there's another job, go out and get another job. And the ridicule that people like her get, why are you going out and getting another job? Just stay home and be safe. It's like everyone just wants everyone to just stay home and do nothing. How do we let people know it is okay to have a new norm instead of waiting and go out? The job is safe. It takes your temperature. It has sanitation, your mask, you do all the protective gears. How do we do that? How do we not let people fear also when they've lost their income? It's minimized. Some jobs that you don't get unemployment because you're not laid off, but your job hours changed, especially with the frontline workers, like Jacqueline. You can touch on this space where, you can't get unemployment because you're a, what is the name, Jacqueline? Essential worker?
Yeah.
But your hours are so cut that you're not making any money, so you can't pay your bills. How do you tell them not to worry? What do you tell them about God having them? How do we show them that God has them? The other thing is light bills. I don't know, tell us what's going on with you guys with the power companies, because here in LA, they can't turn you off, but the light bill is accruing every month. So you just have this humongous light bill that's getting charged up and charged up and charged up for those who don't have jobs and aren't working, but they're not forgiving the bill. You have to pay it all up once this COVID is over. I think it's like 3 months or 6 months. You have to pay your whole light bill up. Go ahead. I've talked a lot.
I don't think that's a possibility in the future. I don't see it now. I know that's what's happening, and I don't know what's going to be the solution, but that's not really a realistic solution. Like, hey, you don't have any money now, but in 6 months, you're just going to have to come up with thousands of dollars. That's not going to happen because people aren't going to be able to. And that's just the truth. So I don't know what the answer is there, but I do know that the idea that, okay, in the near future, everything's going to be honky-dory is not true. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't give people hope, because what you said is true. With each other, we can give each other hope. We can give each other ideas. We need to work together. And that's what I'm so against what's happening nowadays, of what you said about people walking across the street, not wanting to talk. I talk to everybody. It drives my kids crazy because they're like, "Where'd you meet that guy?" I go, "I don't know, just right there. And we just met on right there in front of the store." And they're like, "Oh gosh, Dad, you're so embarrassing." That's what my children say to me when they're teenagers. But there's less of that going on right now because people are afraid. No, I don't know if they're afraid of getting COVID. I think there's fear, period, of everything. And it's a spirit of the time. And we need to break through that just by treating people well. That's it. Just treating them well. And I think if we do that as Christians, we're going to have the biggest impact for the kingdom, because nobody's treating each other well right now. They're not. And so now with us doing it, if we will, we're going to have a gigantic impact. And I don't mean fix every problem they've got. We can't do that. But we can walk alongside somebody who's got problems that are pretty insurmountable and say, I got some too. Maybe through this, we're going to get together and we're going to make it through. That's how to do it. That's the way I believe the church will have the biggest impact through this time.
Anybody else?
I would say even before this happened, so let's just pretend like there was no coronavirus or pandemic or none of that. I remember God asking me, because I was broke. You remember when I was broke? I had nothing but, I think I had a car, but I had no clothes. I had nothing. And God asked me, what do you have in your hand? And at the time I had a pen, and I was like, all I have is a pen. And he said, go write a book. So I say that and now my book has created a platform for me to own my own business. So I say that to say, what I would ask that person is, what is the creative ability that God has given you that you may be able to use to produce more fruit that maybe our society can't give you right now? If you can't get a job, maybe you have the job that's in you that can make money for you. The other thing I would tell you is that God will never leave you nor forsake you. He said, if you make your bed in hell, I'll be there. We didn't make this bed, but we definitely got to lay in it right now. So he's there with us, and we have to constantly, I think, drive that point home. Because what about the homeless people? What about the people who had no job when coronavirus hit? They had no light bill. They had nothing already. And now we still have to provide them some kind of hope. See, we're being made to be uncomfortable because everything's not how it was, and all of our consistencies and what I consider delicacies. And now we're forced to do things differently, and it makes us feel some kind of way. But what about the people who were already in a pandemic before the pandemic even hit? So I would tell both of those people the same thing. God gave us a creative ability. We just have to dig really, really, really deep inside and find out what gift he gave us that can produce us fruit in the season.
Preach it, Brandy. Preach it. Yes, I agree with that. As far as financial goes, yes, your job that you've always known might have dried up. It might be on hold, but God has given us passions. And when coronavirus hit our family and everybody's home, all of a sudden nobody's working. I told my kids, what does God want you to do? You better ask him, what does God want you to do now? Because he doesn't want you to sit at home and play video games and watch TV and veg out on YouTube and eat that food and wait. There's always something God wants to do. It's called transition. And ask God, what do you want me to do? And I will tell you, they all started their own business, or they went to college, or they started helping people. Like, God gave everyone a transition because you asked him for it. So sometimes we don't have it because we simply don't ask. We're content with the waiting game. We see the rest of the world waiting, and we think that's what we're supposed to do. But we're not. We're supposed to say, okay, God, this shift happened. I don't know what to do, but you do. It didn't surprise you. So tell me what's already in me. What have you put in my path already? And if it's not already utilized, like your education, show me what college to go to. Show me what to do, who to talk to. And like Bill said, we're in this together. Even if I belong to a military vet, women's vet group on Mondays. And I love it because women are welcomed even if they're not vets. To come and get support and encouragement and connections. I want the church, and I say that loosely, the body of Christ, to realize what we have isn't just for us. We got to give it away to everyone, anyone you see, because like you said, people were living this way long before COVID. They were wondering how to get their lights paid. They were wondering how to get their rent paid. They were homeless. They were hungry. They were confused. This was people's life before COVID. So those of us who were used to a different lifestyle that was predictable, now it's not. That's all that happened. Our predictability gave up. We got to go to a commercial break. When we come back, let's talk about those social gatherings and how we're going to do that. Okay?
Are you ready to hear about the most amazing competition coming your way? It's the Gifts of Talent virtual competition where you can dance, sing, act, do comedy, all in the comfort of your own home. And a portion of the proceeds goes to feeding the youth. You have a chance to win some amazing prizes. Have fun!
To enter, go to whalerscreation.us, or, for more details, go to socialmediashows.com and hishopnation.com. Or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to get updates. And to
live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
We are now reaching our second year anniversary on our inspirational, educational, and entertainment programming. As part of our journey, we are so grateful to announce that our programs are now available to watch live in real time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. A big appreciation to all our followers, viewers, supporters, and to those who are cheering for our success. Thank you very much for your patronage. Social Media Shows Network's 2-year anniversary and reaching 100 episodes celebration. As part of our appreciation, we are giving away $100 to a lucky winner. No purchase necessary. Go to Social Media Show.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
We are now reaching our second year anniversary on our inspirational, educational, and entertainment programming. As part of our journey, we are so grateful to announce that our programs are now available to watch live in real time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. A big appreciation to all our followers, viewers, supporters, and to those who are cheering for our success. Thank you very much for your patronage. Social Media Shows Network's 2-year anniversary, and reaching 100 episodes celebration. As part of our appreciation, we are giving away $100 to a lucky winner. No purchase necessary. Go to socialmediashows.com for more details.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social.
Chelsea, any comments? Welcome back from the commercial break. We are continuing the conversation of how to stay grounded in the midst of all of this chaos around us and changes. I love that Brandy gave us an acronym. She said that we're in a shift, and that means to see how it fits today. That's what we're going to focus on. How does it look today? How does it fit to do church or schools or family events? We're not going to talk about all the problems with it necessarily, but how can we do it in a safe way to give you listening audience ways to do that and do it safely? Anyone have any suggestions?
Yeah, I would like to talk about how we can do it safely. I know there are a lot of guidelines that we do need to follow in order to prevent the spread of COVID. So when it comes to, like you said earlier, like churches are staying closed, yet, you know, they're allowing people to do sports and such things like that, when it seems like, you know, it's kind of the same thing that they're doing, right? The same amount of people in the same type of space. But I think the one difference is that churches don't have the funding to make sure everyone is safe. They're not able to provide masks or maybe a big enough space to 6 feet distance. You also have choirs. I know a lot of people in choirs refuse to wear masks. That's, you know, you think you can't sing or you can't really preach to your congregation while you have something covering your face, right? Because it's hard to hear, even in a normal conversation, when you have a whole mask on. Some people have 2 masks on, like I use every day. It's difficult to hear anybody. But it's when you have, you know, sports like basketball and such things, they get COVID testing every single time they have a game, right? So there's no way that you can transmit it as easily as you can with somebody who has a choir, but they don't have money for COVID testing because we have to pay out of pocket for it, and they might not be able to have their masks. So it's more difficult for, say, a church to, you know, you want to open, you want to serve God, and you want to allow the elderly and everybody else to have a place to feel welcomed, but then you don't have a way to do it safely.
But Bill, chime in on this, because I know your church and some churches in your area up in San Luis Obispo County, you are open. And how are you doing that?
In our church, we have a bring your own chair, BYOC. And we go out there and we've got a piece of property that somebody's allowing us to meet on. And everybody comes, they show up, they bring your own chair, you sit down, it's all outside, and we have the service. Now, once again, the little old idea of just thinking outside, just coming up with another plan, because what we were doing at first, it's not working. Okay, that's not working, which was not meeting anywhere and just trying to get online. Well, you got too many people that aren't going to be able to do that. And so that didn't work. So we did this other thing, and it seems to be working. And I'm certain a lot of other churches are doing that. What I was saying at the break, Melanie, and I think it's kind of important. I know I got to go in a minute to teach my other Bible study, but I really think this is important. Everything is a balance, and I use the word compromise, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I think compromise is bad, but That's not what I mean in this situation. I mean making a decision on a balanced beam, basically. Because, and I use an example, as a cop for all these years that I've been one, people at every party or any place you go, man, they go, how fast can I drive without getting a ticket? You know, and I say, well, the key answer to that is the speed limit. But the reality is, we all know that you can go a little over the speed limit. What they're asking me is, how much over the speed limit can I go? And I do say this, I say, how about being as safe as you can be? Because I know you're not going to drive 55 and a 55 all the time. I know nobody is. And I don't even know anybody who does. So, but you don't want to go 110 there, because that's absolutely unsafe. And even if it's foggy, where I grew up in California in the Central Valley, super foggy, maybe the speed limit isn't even safe. Go down, do what's really safe. Now that puts a lot of onus on you as an individual. That means you're making decisions, not the government, not your mom and dad. You are making decisions, and you got to make good ones. But that's where we're at right now. Make some good decisions. We can't have no communications. That's very detrimental. We can't have no interactions. That's killing people. That's bad. But we also don't want to transmit this thing. So there's a compromise that we haven't found it yet. I don't know where it's at, but we have to find it, and we have to keep searching for it to find that balance, because there's no such thing as no injury. If you drive cars, people die every day on the roads. People, if you do this, something bad happens. You do this, something bad can happen. So we just got to find that balance point the best we can. And I do have to get going soon, but I hope that made sense.
Yes, it really does. But I love, maybe here's a new idea. It's not new. We have some churches doing Zoom meetings, and then you have the idea of taking it outside. Can we merge that together and still have it on Zoom, but also outside? You know, that way those who don't feel comfortable going and want to be on Zoom, this is great, especially for technology people that, you know, love it. Some people love this Zoom stuff. But for those who don't want to get on the Zoom, but they do it, but they don't show their face, you just see their name, or they're having problems with it, or a lot of people don't have the technology to do Zoom. I know I've had to go out and buy mics. My computer just died. You know, there's a lot of things that pick up with technology. So having the opportunity that says, you know what, why don't you come in Safeway, 6 feet apart, outside. Here in California, restaurants are doing that. You drive past a restaurant. I won't name the chains. I don't know that I can. But you go through the restaurants, and in the parking lot, there are tables in the parking spaces. Tables and chairs set up in parking spaces. I haven't figured out where you're supposed to park, though, because now you're eating where you park. So, and there's no street parking. So I'm not sure what they're thinking about on that. But Markus, when it comes to, let's switch over a minute to family events. I know you have a big family. What do you say to social gatherings with your family? Are you guys waiting until COVID is over to see all your nieces and nephews and grandmothers and aunts and uncles? How are you handling this?
Well, honestly, my mom, sister, and my nephew left about an hour ago. And they was going to when I got work. I mean,
Markus, we're having problems. I have to stop you. We're having problems with the sound. See, there you go. Technology. So try to come closer. Bill, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Come closer.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's actually better, isn't it? Okay, try again.
Is that better? Again?
It's a little better. We'll try it. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
I said, yeah, my family is pretty big. See, my mom, my sister, and my little nephew, that was over here when I got work.
No, Markus, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah, this and you know what? At 5:45, his sound was great. We did sound check and it was wonderful. I think it's time to go on a commercial break. In about 1 minute. Well, let's do a commercial now. Bill needs to go. Thank you, Bill, for your time today. May God bless your Bible study tonight.
Everybody understands. I've known Jacqueline since she's a little girl. I love your hair, girl. I love it, love it, love it. I used to have hair. It's pretty much getting pretty thin now. I used to have it.
We'll see you on the other side of the break. Bill, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bill.
Everybody
Bye,
else stay.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Opportunity to start social media shows. You have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
We are now reaching our second year anniversary on our inspirational, educational, and entertainment programmings. As part of our journey, we are so grateful to announce that our programs are now available to watch live in real time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. A big appreciation to all our followers, viewers, supporters, and to those who are cheering for our success. Thank you very much for your patronage. For 2 years we have produced over 25 shows. And joined by passionate collaborators, individuals, and organizations. Social Media Shows Network's 2-year anniversary, and 100 episode celebration, and $100 giveaway. No purchase necessary. Go to socialmediashows.com for more details.
We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. We present our show programmings, which demonstrate inspirations to any viewers around the globe,
with over 500,000 reach to over 54 countries.
Our programming are very relatively entertaining and empowering. And now here is the Let's Talk World. Let's Talk World, hosted by a young, witty, and fearless leader of social media shows, Maria Pureza. This programming is all about featuring individuals in their field of interest. We showcase everyone's passion.
You can be empowered with Maria and Joe Live TV, a show that will inspires you. Maria and Joe will share real-time stories and deliberate cynical perspective in a positive culture. Join and watch us on socialmediashows.com.
In the Office is a show about words of wisdom that relates to everyday circumstances in life. Watch life coach Joseph Skode.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how does your family or friends do social gatherings with all of the 6 feet apart, wear a mask, and no more than anywhere from 2 to 10 people in one place. In some cities, it's if you don't live in the same house, then you also shouldn't get together. So we wanted to hear from Markus, but unfortunately we have technical difficulties. So we'll get that fixed before next week. Brandy, what do you have to say about that? I know you have a family that's widespread.
Yes. So our family, when the quarantine first happened, and sometimes now still, but right when it happened, we were all like, how can I still see you? Because we're so close knit. So what we decided to do is play bingo. So the way you do that is we scheduled a Zoom link. You can do Zoom, StreamYard, any kind of place where multiple people can come on the video at one time. And then somebody emailed the bingo sheets out to everybody. And then one person was the caller, and we also did trivia. So it was just a way for us to be able to still connect. And that really, we were able to get on and laugh and talk and joke. And then, as you told them a few weeks ago, my grandfather died from coronavirus. However, at the nursing home, that's also how we connected to him, was they would bring him on Zoom every Sunday. And I'm grateful for technology, really going with the shift. They didn't take time to go, oh, do you think people will really need us in this season? They said, you know what? People are going to need us in this season. They increased their bandwidth. They did what they needed to do to accompany the shift. And I think we have to do the same with our friends, our family, our churches. We have to do what we can to accompany the shift and the people that we lead, because everybody on here is a leader. Everybody probably watching is leading in some capacity. So as a leader, we have to embody the change so that the people who are following us will know what to do. And so we can, even the commercials. Have you seen a Progressive commercial?
No.
Oh, I'll send it to you. But basically, their commercial is now a Zoom call, and they're all talking to each other, and like they're at work. So like even the commercials took the shift. So that's how our family did it. And we don't get together. My nephew went to the military. We got together that one time, and that was it. So we kind of just took the risk to tell him goodbye and all of that stuff. And then, so I guess I'm like Bill, take the risk if you must, but social distance as much as you can. Like we went to the beach, had a great time. We stayed on our little plot of sand. Didn't talk to me. I Lysol the whole hotel, but when we got there, do what you can to stay safe. Yeah. Don't do too much. And when we got back home, I didn't go see anybody because, of course, they say 14 days. So I waited 14 days before I went and saw my mom and stuff like that. So do what you can, but still have fun and still live your life.
And, I really want to just double that for what you said is, if you do, for whatever reason, go out and you do take the chance and you go into the public or you go into a setting of a lot of people, quarantine yourself for 14 days. Do the right thing by everybody. And you go home, disinfect, wash your stuff, do all that, drink a lot of hot tea, a lot of hot liquids, but quarantine for 14 days. That way okay, I'm good. It's a safety net. But I want to shamelessly, we're like you and my family. We did, especially for Father's Day, we did Jackbox TV. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but for a very small fee. And I think there's one game you can do for free, but you can get up to 6 or 8 games. And there are word games and puzzle games and guessing games and drawing games. And you can play for hours. And so you get on the Zoom and one person and then with your phone, you're logged into Jackbox TV and it tells you what to do. And it's so much fun. But check this out. Now, this is for an extra, but you have the option at the end of your games to get T-shirts of what you do.
Oh, cute.
So this was Pictionary, and someone drew this. Chelsea actually drew this. And so it was, I love this one. So what happened is we got a T-shirt for everybody in the family from the game. And so we're going to do a family photo of that soon. So you can get little extra gifts like that to commemorate it. So I know everyone doesn't want to move into technology.
Right.
But like you said, maybe it's not for you. It's for everybody else. I hated technology. I hated being on camera. I haven't taken a picture of myself. Jacqueline, how many years did I allow people to get a picture of me? I don't even know. It's years. There's no pictures. One person once told me, if you die, your kids will not have anything to tell their grandparents about you because there's not one picture about you anywhere. And now I'm all over the place. I'm even on social media because we had to do it, not for us, but for what God created me to do. I can no longer do it in person. So I had to say, okay, God, if you still want me to talk and teach and encourage people, then I have to adjust. I have to do the shift. And so, we need to encourage each other. God has a purpose for us, that plan, a hope for the future. But if we sit and wait for this to go over, we're missing so much. And not only that, our mind is going downhill. Our goals, our dreams, they're wearing away and they're getting withered. John 14:30, I want to say this. It says this, I will not say much more to you. This is Jesus talking. For the prince of this world is coming, but he has no hold over me. Listen, this darkness that's come over this country and other countries, it doesn't have a hold on us. We're not part of this system. We are separate and apart from this system. And we have to change our mindset from fear and trepidation and worry and what if and a holding pattern to saying, you know what, God, you have plans for me. This doesn't have a hold over me. You know what that means? It's like this. Like, it's not holding me, saying I'm stuck. I am free in Jesus' name to go and do something different, to expand in a new way, to talk to people in a new way. But we have to do that. We have to be willing to do that. Because also, Romans 12:2. Who knows that one by heart? Anybody? Not going to put you on the spot. Not going to do it. But it says we don't conform to the pattern of this world, but we are transformed by the renewing of our mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, that it's good, pleasing, and perfect. Let me tell you, if we don't allow ourselves to be renewed in our mind, that, okay, you know what, we're not going to go to school in a setting anymore. We're going to have to do homeschool, or we're going to do internet college, but we're still going to get the degree. We're still going to get the tools we need to be the person we need to be for our community. Then we need to make that mind change. We need to make the change. Okay, I can't go hug, my person, but I can talk to them and I can Zoom them and we can make it fun. We just have to do that first time and then you'll see it. We have to decide that there's something in me that I can do. Listen, everyone's making money now off the internet. The people who don't have jobs, they're the ones who are really saying, I can't go hungry and I don't want to lose my home. They're doing things like starting their home businesses or starting podcasts. And you know what? Let's encourage each other. And when you hear someone starting a new business, put it out there. Let's encourage each other. Let's support each other and not say, oh, that's dumb. No, that's great. That is great. I do think we have to go on the last commercial break is coming up. And then I want to encourage you. We all want to encourage you in the Lord when we come back.
We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. We present our show programmings, which demonstrate inspirations to any viewers around the globe.
With over 500,000 reached to over 54 countries.
We are now reaching our second year anniversary on our inspirational, educational, and entertainment programmings. As part of our journey, we are so grateful to announce that our programs are now available to watch live in real time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. A big appreciation to all our followers, viewers, supporters, and to those who are cheering for our success. Thank you very much for your patronage. For 2 years we have produced over 25 shows. And joined by passionate collaborators, individuals, and organizations. Social Media Shows Network's 2-year anniversary, and 100 episode celebration, and $100 giveaway. No purchase necessary. Go to socialmediashows.com for more details.
Am I frozen on the screen?
Yes, you are.
The devil.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Truth Talk. Tonight, we're in our final segment already, and it just seems like we just started the conversation. I do hope that we are encouraging you to look outside the box, to not be stagnant in waiting. There is going to be hardships, and there's definitely cause to be worried and to fear about what's going on in our societies. But what we know is that in Jesus Christ, we do have peace and provision and direction through the Holy Spirit. That is granted to you and to me as children of God. If you don't know who Jesus is, well, please get in touch with us. You can contact me at www.truthtohear.org. You can comment on the show that you're watching, on the platform that you're watching, and we'll look for that as well. Juan Carlos says, JC, says, great program. Thank you, JC. I sure enjoyed seeing you this weekend and being on your show this weekend. So, called Saved by Grace. If you don't know the show, you should look it up. It's all about testimonies. So let me ask you guys this. Final words. I think, Jacqueline, you're the only one. Brandy, do you have audio?
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you. So
I don't know why I'm frozen on the screen.
Final words to encourage anyone. What's the favorite thing that you do right now that gives you that peace in the middle of all that's going on around you?
I've been studying 1 Kings 19:11, and it basically, in short, says, go out and stand on the mountaintop and wait for the Lord to pass by. He wasn't in the earthquake, he wasn't in the wind, but he came in a silent, small whisper. So I've just found peace in waiting for the whisper, and all the calamity and all of the things that are going on are just merely distractions from the goal. And if I can just keep in front of me just whatever he put in front of me for today, that's what we started with, whatever he's given me for this moment, this season, because what I do understand, reading the times past, biblical times past, it's just a season. Either we're on our way to heaven, or we're just in a different season of this world and we're getting ready to do something new. But either way, the earthquake came and he was on a mountaintop. Can you imagine being on a mountaintop and an earthquake comes? That's a whole nother, and so, but that just reminded me to hold on in the earthquake, in the wind, whatever's going on in the calamity of the world. My only job is to hold on, focus forward, and move with the shift.
I love that. Jacqueline, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, the only thing really giving me peace at this time is just taking all the negative energy and thoughts that I have and turning it into something positive. Whenever I get anxious or overwhelmed, I feed my community instead of keeping it inside my head the whole entire time. So I would just say, if you're the type of person who actions make you feel much better, feed your community, give whatever you have to your community. I mean, there's not much that I can give right now because I'm struggling as well, but as much as I can, just be involved in your community and help everybody else who is possibly feeling the same exact feelings as you are.
Yeah. Markus, I want to give you an opportunity. I know your mic is it may not be a little bit clear, but I want to give you an opportunity to say, how do you deal with finding God's peace in the middle of all this?
Well, a couple years ago, my daughter, she had a surgery, a procedure, having a substance abnormal taken out, and she's supposed to came home that same day, but unfortunately, she had to stay over because her oxygen was low, and she had to they had to give her oxygen. And the next day, I was asking God, I was like, what should we learn from this? And before I finished the question in my head, I heard clear as day, trust me. So when things get drastic or hectic, or when there's uncertain times that come about, I just reflect back to that moment to where I heard him say, trust me. And also knowing that one of his promises is also my motto for my family that's been there for years, which is no weapon. Isaiah 54:17. So no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I just know that I'm very optimistic about things, and I always believe that there's greater to come, and there's gonna be always a bright side, and there's a reason for everything. And just know that, like you said, he will not lead nor forsake us. And also, I know Jeremiah 29:11, but I know the plans that he has for me. So I just place all things in his hands and do what I can and try not to worry as much as possible.
That's powerful. For those listening, we're just like you. We struggle daily. Different areas, different circumstances, and some the same. And we don't have all of the answers by any means. We can just give you what works for us. We can give you what we experience and hope that it helps you. If you need someone to talk to, if you need help in any way, please reach out to us at truthtohear.org or email me at info@truthtohear.org. I encourage you this week, and I encourage us, even in Truth to Hear, and all you who are listening or watching, to seek God first this week. When you first rise up, just say, God, I give you the day because I'm unsure of everything, but I know this day does not surprise you. Spend time in His Word and in prayer, not just for yourself, but for all those that you know and all those that you don't know. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Truth to Hear.